One of the important elements of the SAP system is programs. Auditors don't prefer giving access to transactions SA38 and SA38 to users in the production system, so that users are not able to execute whatever programs they want. But users do need, maybe not all users, but some users do need access to executing programs in the production system. Now, if you have to give SA38 or SA38 in production system, you have to put a tight control in place using the authorization group concept. But there is a loophole in the authorization group concept, and that is that the users get access to more programs than they need, meaning once you specify and given access to an authorization group, the users can execute the programs from that group. And you could have 10 programs in that group, or you could have 100 programs in that group. So depending on how many programs are there in the group, the user can execute all those programs. Plus, the user can also execute the programs which are not assigned to any group, which is again could be a problem, because there are many programs in the SAP system, standard programs, which are not assigned to any group. And many times it so happens that the customer programs, which the customer ABAP developers create, they are also not assigned to any group. So the authorization group concept, even though it limits what programs you can execute, but it totally does not eliminate the loopholes in the SAP system. So the other alternative that you have, which SAP recommends over the authorization group, is to create a transaction code for every program that the users request access to. The only drawback in this thing is, in this mechanism, is that you'll have to create one transaction code for every program. So every time a user requests and access to a report, somebody has to create a transaction code for it, and you as a security administrator would have to help identify a role in which that transaction code can be assigned. And then you go through the transport process to move that change in the role from development to production system. But the best thing in creating a custom transaction code is the users can only execute the program behind the transaction code, no other program. So let us see how we can create a custom transaction code. Now, custom transaction code is created by using the transaction code SE93. But before doing that, let us go to and execute this program for, let's say we are going to create a program for a custom transaction code for this program. So let's go and execute that program. And you get a selection screen. Okay. Now let's go and create a custom transaction code for this program. So to create a custom transaction code, the transaction code is SE93. So let's go and create a program or transaction code for Y. Let's give let's say RPCG. RPCG. That's the transaction code that we are going to create for that program. Let's go and click on create. You get that create transactions screen. Give a short description. Let's say transaction for the program name. Let's give that. Now because the program has a selection screen, let's say program and selection screen because that's a report program. Let's say continue. So depending on for what you're creating a transaction code, you have to select the selections. For example, if you're creating a transaction for a program which has a screen which is interactive, then you can, which has got a dialog screens, then you create a transaction code for by selecting this option. But let's select program for selection screen, click on continue, and in the program name fields enter the program name, and you have to specify a selection screen number if it is asking you to. So by default it's saying 1000, so let's keep it that, and select the GUI support and click on save. It asks you to create an object directory entry so that you can transport it from one system to another, but we don't want to transport it, so let's select local object because local objects cannot be transported. So let's select local object, and the transaction code YRPCG is now created. Now let's go and execute this transaction code. And hit the enter key. See? So you can execute, you get to that selection screen of that program. So instead of assigning SA38 in the to the users, what we will do now is we will now assign this program to the user, assign this transaction code to the user. So let's go and modify the program that we had for executing the programs. And remove this transaction SA38. Let's go and generate the profiles. What we will do is we'll log in with the test user ID again and see if we are able to execute that transaction. Let's go and generate the role. And now we'll log in with that test user ID and see if we are able to execute that program using the transaction code. So we logged in with the test user ID. Now let us go and execute this transaction, the custom transaction code that we created, and see what happens. You get an authorization error because this program is part of the group PC13, and in our role the object s_program is not there. So as you see, the object s_program is not there. So let's go and continue with this, exit, and let's execute SA53. It looks for this program object s_program with these values. So let's go to our role and assign that object s_program into the role. Now, this is not an ideal way of doing. It is not a good practice to insert objects into the role manually. The best practice, SAP best practice mechanism is to go to SA24 and link up the transaction code and the object so that the object automatically comes into the role. So let's go and select the action. What SA53 wanted was variant, and the group it wanted was PC13. So let's go and select the value variant and assign the authorization group PC13. Let's generate the role. That's what we are doing now. Now, see, the beauty about this thing is you don't have SA38 or SA38 in the role access to the user. So the user cannot execute any other program, all these programs, because the user now doesn't have access to SA38. But user has access to execute this program because we had created a custom transaction code for that program. So as you see, we are limiting, using a custom transaction code, we are limiting access to what programs the user can execute. So this mechanism of creating, of using custom transaction codes is better than using the authorization group concept. Now let's go and execute. Now it is allowing us to execute the program. So we have not assigned SA38 to the user, but the user is still able to execute this program because we had created a custom transaction code for this program. And because SA38 or SA38 is not assigned, the user cannot execute any of these programs. So the transaction code for creating a custom transaction code is SE93. You go to SE93, and depending on for what you're creating a custom transaction code, you select the radio buttons in the create process and follow the steps accordingly. So using the custom transaction codes, you give access to only the programs which the user needs access to. So this finishes the topic on how to control access to programs using SA38 or SA38. But the best way is to create a custom transaction code for programs, and that's the SAP recommended way.